Well, good morning. We are out for our morning walk here in beautiful Hua Hin. We're enjoying the beach, walking for several kilometers. I just love it. This is just what I needed. Look at this beautiful condo here behind me. Man, to have like a place there and just look out over this water like this, I can see why so many expats just love this destination. It's a good destination. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of different ideas with investing. First, we're going to talk about how I paid off my debts. I was not able to start investing really until I got my debts taken care of. And we're going to talk about how I did that and why that's so important. Next, we're going to talk about when did I start actually making some profits? How do you know when to do that? You know, how do you know when to go from like investing and you're putting your money into the various stocks or maybe like a rental property and you start to switch over and make some profits? When do you do that? Well, I'm no financial advisor, but I can talk about how I did it. So those are the two things we're going to talk about today. One is how I paid off my debts, and two, when I decided to switch over and start actually making profits from my investments so that I could travel full time. I'm also going to take you to get a great bite to eat. Oh man, I'm loving these little family restaurants. There's a lot of really cool ones here. I'm going to show you low-cost meals that I enjoy while I'm staying here in the Hua Hin area. We have a lot to talk about today. We're going to talk about some different investing ideas, paying off our debts, and finally making profit. How and when that happened for me. And we're going to enjoy this beautiful destination, which I'm loving so much. Okay, we've got a lot to chat about. Let's get going. After a peaceful divorce, I found myself in a predicament. I was negative $60,000 in debt. That was my debt amount. Negative $60,000. Whoa, talk about having a net worth. That was my life net worth. And I was in my 40s. Imagine being in your 40s and that's where you're at. You look at all the investing that you've done over time and how hard you've worked, and you look at your balance sheet and you're like, I'm negative 60. That's rough. Let me tell you, that's rough. But I took it step by step and I was able to pay it off. It took me 5 years. What did I do to pay that off? Well, it became basically my life to pay that off. One is I had to increase the amount of money that I made at work. The job I had wasn't going to cut it. So I literally had to start studying IT skills and get some IT certifications, change jobs, and double my pay. That was step one. It's not just living a more frugal life and paying off your debts one by one. Of course, that's part of it. But also increasing your income so that you can actually get them paid off. And in the States, I'll tell you right now, that's not easy because the cost of living was high back then as well. But that was my first step, increase my pay. The second step that I did is I looked at anything I had that I was making payments on monthly, subscriptions, memberships, things that I didn't need to go out and buy out in town. I could do it myself at home. I started learning how to cook better. One of the best things that I got was a Dutch oven. One of these like Dutch ovens you put in the oven, you know? Oh my goodness, I would make just big, delicious meals. I loved it, and they would last me for days. It dropped my cost of living considerably. I would make coffee at home, take it with me to work. I'd make my lunches at home, everything. That became part of my life, reducing my monthly costs drastically. What I ate, oh my gosh, for dinners, I would lower my portion, and I lost a lot of weight too because of that. That was an interesting side effect, is by lowering how much I was eating in my meals, I actually dropped some weight, and that was good too. One of the most important steps to lower that debt down to zero was changing my lifestyle. I started looking at things that I did for entertainment. If I was buying alcohol and things like that, I basically reduced that down to zero. Also, I didn't go out and do things out in town. I found things like hiking. I found things like spending time at the beach with my kids and enjoying going to the parks, things like that. I poured myself into hobbies that didn't cost money. That was a big step because entertainment will get you. I'm going to tell you right now, you don't even think about it, but at the end of the month, you look at something and one night out can cost you $100 or more. That's money you can be putting towards those debts. And that was a big part of how I got debt down to zero. You know, it's interesting. One of my friends that went through a divorce as well, he told me it's going to take you 5 years to pay off your debts. And I said, no way, man. I'm going full steam. I am like cutting all my costs, all my monthly costs. I'm going to have it paid off in a couple of... No, he was right. It took me 5 years. And that was the biggest step to being able to start investing. You see, the interest rates that we pay on debt, it doesn't make any sense to start investing when you have debt. Get your debt paid off first. It's a hot one, but caffeine must still be enjoyed. And so I'm going to get myself a nice iced coffee. It's a good way to start in the morning. Hello. Oh, I'd like to get something for the morning. Iced coffee, please. Coffee ice, yep. Going to one of these little kiosks like this, they're mobile, so you just kind of run into them. And it's $1 for a nice iced coffee. You can just relax and wander down the street with it. You find little ice cream and smoothie vehicles as well. They're all made on these like converted motor scooters. It's like an entrepreneur on 2 wheels. They have a full shop that they can just take home and park in their garage at home. I love this. I don't know why we don't do this in the West. I'm sure it's all related to regulation. Ugh. By the way, if you have any questions about travel health insurance, in the description, the first link will get you all the information you need about travel health insurance. Let's talk about the second part of this discussion, the part where I started to make a profit. I was investing in 2 different avenues at that time. One was I was investing in dividend stocks, but I wasn't taking the dividends. I was rolling the dividends back into the investment every month. That's called the dividend reinvestment program. And it worked good. It just continued to build my investment every month. And that worked out well. Not only did I put more money into those dividend stocks, but the dividends that they were earning rolled right into them as well. It was a nice system and it worked good. And then how about my growth stocks? Well, my growth stocks were doing well, but you know, it was interesting. Back during that time, I was all into big tech. All the big tech because that's what I knew. And they weren't really doing that great, but they slowly gained a little bit of steam. But that's when I was investing in them. Now, of course, they've just taken off. So when do you actually start taking profit? Well, I'm going to explain to you what I did. That's all I can do is talk about what I did. Once I got ready to actually retire, I looked at how much I was making from my dividends. When it hit my target, which was $2,000 a month in dividends, I turned off DRIP. Then it no longer reinvested the dividends back into those dividend stocks. It started to put it into a separate account. That account I can utilize using an ATM card with no overseas fees all over the world. How easy. It's now a money-making machine for me to travel on. What about my growth stocks? When did I start making a profit from that? Well, I'll tell you how I did it. That's all I can do. Once I started seeing some of my growth stocks just run away, oh man, like Tesla, for a while Nvidia was like that, I started shaving off like 10-15% of those stocks and holding them in cash. That's how I reduced those runaway stocks. And when they crashed again, I would buy shares back lower. I would never sell completely out of them. That's how I manage my growth stocks. When they're on a tear, I just smile like, hey, it's great. I'll shave off 10% maybe. But when they crash, when they have a nice big dip, that's when I buy shares of them. I don't sell out of them completely. I keep some money in my growth stocks, and I'm holding those growth stocks for decades. They're not short-term investments. In fact, none of my stocks are. I invest in the long term. It was time to look at my profits. What was I making? One, I was looking at the dividend stocks now paying me about $2,000 a month. Two, I was looking at my growth stocks doing well. I'm not selling out of them. I just shave some profits here and there whenever they just take off and they're just going wild. That's irrational. And that's when, as a sound investor, I want to shave some profits and put it in cash. That's when I started looking at profits from my investments. And those profits have made it possible for me to travel and to also build my retirement as I'm traveling. I never would have been able to do that back in the States. This answers two different questions that I've been getting in the comment section. One is, how did I get rid of my debts? Step by step. It wasn't easy. And I'll tell you right now, I had major life changes that made it possible. And two, when did I actually start traveling like this? When did I realize my profit was enough to actually start traveling and living this lifestyle? Hopefully both of those questions are answered now. And if they inspire you, great. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor, but I can tell you what I did. It's not just about the money. It's about mental health as well. It's about caring for yourself. It's about the mental effects of finding yourself deep in debt. If there's anything else that I can give you in this video, it's this. Don't give up on your situation. I came close to giving up. I looked at how deep in debt I was, and I was like, this is not working out. This is not going to get any better. I'm basically finished here. You get to that point. You can bring depression into your life when you start believing that it's impossible. I get that. And I was there as well. But I started to realize that in the long term, it wasn't just about me. It was about my kids, and it was also about what value I could bring to the world around me. It wasn't just about me. And I just started moving forward and paying off my debts and changing my life again. And every time a credit card or a debt or a loan or whatever got paid off, then I would do a little celebration for myself, because I was one step closer to freedom. Freedom is being debt-free. Freedom is having passive income that allows you to make your own decisions in life. That is the only true freedom in life. It's not what government you live under. It's not what laws and rights you have, because all that can be taken away and basically have been. True freedom is when you control 100% of your time. And that is only through paying off your debts and investing so that you have income to live your life and control your life. A well-known and beloved location here in the Hua Hin area is Ruam Siap. Look at how cute it is with these little huts that you sit in. This place was recommended to me, and I can understand why. Not only is it just a really neat place to visit to have a bite to eat, but the prices were fantastic as well. As usual, I go to a place like this, I'm going to order way too much food, but I just bring back whatever I don't eat to the room. They cook it right here open, so you get a chance to see the cooking. Fresh, delicious, of wide variety here. Not just Thai dishes, but there are some like British breakfast ideas and things like that. But for me, I just ordered some of my favorites from here. This is not my first time since I've been here. This omelet was much larger than I expected. For the price I had figured it'd be for one person, this is basically an omelet for 3 people. Ooh. Oh, man. Oh. Phew, that looks so good. Thank you, thank you. I have been stopping in to get this, I'd say about every other day. Yeah, a little hot there, gotta be careful. But the dipping sauce is wonderful. It's not too spicy, and there's a lot of green onion in the dipping sauce. Delicious. Oh, man. What a fantastic way to get the morning started. I ordered a third dish as well. Probably did not have to. But like I said, at these prices, I just bring it back to the room. This plate was also much larger than I expected. This was $5, came with the rice on the side, and these were crispy and golden. Oh my gosh, so many shrimp. And then under the shrimp was a layer of vegetables as well, all kind of done in a crunchy tempura sauce. Way more, it was very hot too, very hot. Way more food than I expected. But basically, when you have these kind of prices, I'm going to order up. I'm going to eat and enjoy, and then I'll have a snack for later. You know, at the end of the day, I have a lot of editing to do, so it's nice to have some food in the room to do that editing. This is the way I like to travel. I want to thank you for spending some time with me today. Today we talked about two main ideas. One was how I paid off my debts. I really wasn't able to start investing until that happened. That came first. And second, when did I start actually making profits from my investments? When did I make it so that I could actually start to travel full time as a minimalist with one backpack just like this? If you want to learn more about this lifestyle, if this is the lifestyle you're thinking about getting into, well, like and subscribe to the video and come along with, because this is what we talk about here. I'm not a financial advisor, but I do talk about how I made it possible. If you are interested in learning more about the sandals that I wear, they've traveled all over the world with me now. For several years, I've used this brand, and there's a link in the description for them. Also, the backpack that travels with me. 7 years now. It's been a great backpack, and I am proud to be able to keep a link in my description to help people find that product, because I'll tell you right now, it's been good to me. Okay, we'll talk again soon. Aloha. I didn't mean nobody no harm as I was wandering the beaches of Hua Hin, but then he saw me. The mad dogs of Hua Hin. Mad dog on the beach right here. A ruthless predator. And he's not alone. Oh my goodness. Another ruthless beast is gonna join us on the beach. There he is. A vicious breed. Look at them practicing their tactics of tearing humans from limb to limb. When they dip or if they have a crash, okay. Okay, let's try that again.